Here's your China Brief this morning. A look at some of the stories making headlines in papers and online. And really, the big story has been Tim Cook in China, where they've been covering the Apple CEO's visit to Shanghai ahead of its opening of a new store there. The Shanghai Security News reports that he did meet with executives of the company's top Chinese suppliers. And the report says Cook pledged to maintain Apple's close and, quote, win-win partnership with them.
Well, same story. In the meantime, though, when you look at the Global Times, they're actually running a story in Cook's comments to local media that there's actually no supply chain more critical to Apple than China. The report also cites experts saying that Apple needs to ramp up efforts to regain lost market share in the country, and this is really going into what's been trending today and some of the reactions across social media.
I mean, that video, if we can show it, I mean, of him walking around the streets of Shanghai, eating a xiaolong bao with Jen Kai. This is the Chinese actor that was part of that really hit show Blossom Shanghai. That really just goes to show this, I guess, the symbolism, too, of how this relationship has been with Apple and China as well. Reactions on Weibo, I mean, it's been mixed, but some say, look, didn't Apple relocate a lot of the supply chain to India? I don't see how critical China is at all. And other persons that say Apple has been following China's rules and is a good model of a multinational company.
Yeah. What was that movie of Ethan Hawke?
Oh, gosh.
And, okay, what's her name? Three versions. Two were in the 90s. One was recently.
You're putting me on the
walking
spot.
Around. Was it Paris or France?
You're putting me on the spot.
Selling Sunset. Was it? No, not Selling Sunset. Sorry. That's more recent. That's Before Sunset, Before Sunrise. There we go.
Thank you, our producer, Paolo.
Okay, I'm not saying the two, but the overall texture and the vibe of the cinematography on that video does seem like very Ethan Hawke-ish.
I have to say, right?
Yeah. Beautiful movie, by the way. And that's a nice bridge. I used to live quite near where that was shot in Shanghai. Anyway.
Alan Wong,
You were selling sunset.
our senior editor, joins us now from Shanghai. He's following all things and tracking where Tim Cook is right now. Alan, just tell us, why do you think Cook's trip is so important for the Chinese government as it is for Apple?
Yeah, I mean, it's important for Apple and the Chinese government. I mean, for Apple, we know about all its recent challenges, right? It jettisoned its decade-long EV project. It hasn't been doing a lot in terms of generative AI. And most importantly, iPhone sales in China have plunged 24% in the first 6 weeks of this year, according to Counterpoint. So we know about Apple's challenges. And, you know, the reality is they're doubling down in China. And for the Chinese government, what Tim Cook says there was very telling. Tim Cook, he said that basically there's no supply chain more critical than China. And that's a vote of confidence at a time when the economy is slowing, multinationals are looking elsewhere for growth, foreign direct investment is plunging. We're at 3 lows. So basically, it's a vote of confidence. And also, you got to understand that, like you said, a lot of operations have been shifting to India, Malaysia, and elsewhere. So it's a way to reassure the Chinese government that Apple is still is totally invested in this country, despite all these challenges.
And you're set to cover this store opening later today, of course, in the city, Alan. How excited are you?
Well, you know, I'm always like, you know, I enjoy, you know, checking out the latest gadgets. You know, obviously there'll be some new, maybe some new iPads and Vision Pro and all that. But I mean, more importantly, I want to see whether Tim shows up. I mean, we're not even sure whether or not he's going to show up. More likely than not, he's probably going to be attending the China Development Forum later this week in Beijing. So I want to see whether he comes and he talks about, you know, China. Also, I want to check out the lines, whether or not we're going to have big crowds like we've seen in the past. And they talked about improving the customer experience. I wonder if they're going to pull like a Starbucks and have this incredible, monstrous store in the heart of Shanghai. You know, in Shanghai, this is roastery in Shanghai, and it's not just a place to enjoy coffee. It's a place to really hang out for hours. So I'm thinking, well, maybe Apple is going to do something similar. Yeah, so.
An Apple roastery.
That's kind of what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that Starbucks store, that's in Jing'an, right? Alan, in the middle, right? That's the downtown, that's the big one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's become sort of like a destination in many ways.